So what is FlexUp? It's basically three things. It's a model, an economic model, an app, and a network of people that can help you with your business. So it's an integrated business platform built on a fair contribution-based economic model. That's what FlexUp is. And our slogan is reinventing the way we do business. So why does the world need FlexUp? Well, because there's a lot of problems today when you're trying to start manage a business, and basically it's complexity and conflicts. These are two of the big problems. But there's many questions, like how do you, as a founder, how do you keep control of your company when you're giving shares to investors? If you have several founders, how do you split the equity between the different founders? Is it going to be 50-50 or 30-70? A lot of fights. I mean, I've seen so many fights about people disagreeing on how to split the equity. And then the question that everybody's facing, and Lara, she was very concerned about this. Oh, I'm doing a funding round, but I'm being diluted. I used to have 100% and now I only have 70%. And then when you're doing a funding round, what is the value of my company? Is the company worth 1 million, 10 million? How can we say? I mean, this is very often is completely random numbers. So these are all the problems relating to capital and ownership. But then we also have problem, how do you attract good talent? Like when you don't have money, how do you attract talented people? How do you build this partnership with your strategic suppliers and clients? So the quail breeding case study is a good example where FlexUp creates a strong connection between the farm and the breeder, right? So it's a way to ensure long-term collaboration. And then how do you find clients? So hopefully in the future we can develop the FlexUp marketplace, and then people can find clients, suppliers, not just to buy shoes like on Amazon, but for any product or service. You need a good lawyer in Africa. How do you find a good lawyer? Yes. So very often it's very difficult. So we have more problems in the business. Like you have a very high fixed cost structure. You're 10 employees. You spend 100,000 euros a month on salary. And then for a couple of months, your business is going bad. You can't pay your team. You go bankrupt. Or you have to use many different tools for accounting and an Excel sheet for equity calculation. And then there's also the fundamental problem of the current system is that very often the founder has 100% of the company and the employees, they get a salary. But if the company is very successful, maybe the team doesn't get any bonus, right? Most companies, they give small bonus to the employees, but it's a very small percentage of the actual value creation. And in France, by law, companies must introduce a profit sharing scheme for the employees, but it's like peanuts, So building a business is hard, and the current system makes it even harder. And the result is that many businesses fail or they struggle. And I faced a lot of these problems, and some of my companies failed because of these conflicts and because of this complexity and high cost structure and all this bullshit. So what is the solution? Well, the solution that FlexUp provides is an ecosystem that completely transforms the way we can do business. So first of all, we have an economic model where we can share the value in a transparent way with a framework that aligns the incentives of everybody. And then we have a business management app that allows people to manage their business, everything from contract to payments to an equity. So all the way to equity, right? That's an important thing. And then we have a network of partners. So we have advisory services provided internally. So initially it will be Nico, Paula, and then in the future we may have, advisors in all kinds of disciplines in different regions for different languages, hopefully. But we can't have enough people to advise millions of users. So we will have to rely on partnerships. Existing law firms, existing accounting firms. And in the future, we can even have a marketplace where, people, they find their help themselves and we just take a small fee. The problem is that there's already a lot of marketplaces out there. So we need to find a way to make it better. Okay. And all of that, this is what's unique, is that all of this is integrated, right? So we have a lot of business management apps. We have a lot of advisors. Can you put your computer on mute? Because we can hear you typing, please. Padma, yeah, thanks. So there's a lot of business apps out there. There's a lot of advisors, and there's also a few alternative models. But I don't know many system where all of this is integrated, right? And that's one of the things that makes, I think, FlexUp quite unique, is that all of this is integrated. It's a little bit like the Apple ecosystem. They have the hardware, they have the software, they even have the content. All of that is integrated. So I used to do, I did an MBA, and one of the teachers in strategy, they said, if you have one competitive advantage, people can copy you. But if you have 10 unique, not unique, but if you have 10 strong competitive advantages, then it's difficult for other people to replicate all of them. You see? So that's why I'm not trying to protect the economic model. Every document we create is open source. People can use it freely. People can copy it, whatever. If they use our IP, I would like them to pay us a royalty fee. That's why we have a 10% royalty fee, but it's going to be hard to check. If somebody downloads the contract and they use it somewhere in Mexico, I cannot control it, right? But I think it's going to be hard for people to copy everything, make work, everything together. Plus, there is a network effect. If we have 1 million users using the app and they do all their transactions through the app, if you create a new platform and people are already on the FlexUp app, are they going to move to another platform? So there's also the network effect. So that's why we need to have a very generous free plan so that people, they go on our app, and once they're on our app, they don't want to move all their contracts to another platform. So let me explain now each of these three aspects of the FlexUp ecosystem. So in the conventional model, we pay the employees first, then we pay the state, the suppliers, the banks, and if there's any money left, everything is for the shareholders. So they're the only ones who take all the risk and the rewards. But that creates a huge conflict of interest between the employees and the shareholders, because they get their salary in all cases, even if the company is going bankrupt or even if the company is struggling, they get their full salary. And if the company is extremely successful, only the shareholders benefit. So they have a completely different expected financial outcome, and that creates a lot of conflicts. And it's also unfair because overall businesses are profitable, but the money all goes to the shareholders. So we have a very high level of concentration of wealth. And this is a problem everywhere in the world. In Europe, we have a lot of social unrest because of this unequal wealth distribution, and also in other countries. So this is bad for society to have very high level of concentration of wealth. So the FlexUp economic model says there is no discrimination. I don't care if you're an employee or a share investor or a supplier, I don't care. You are free to say how much risk you want to take, and to make it simple, 30% firm, 40% flex, 30% credit. You decide, or it's an open negotiation between the project and each stakeholder how to split the remuneration. And then every month the company will pay the firm. If there's any money left, we pay the flex. And at the end of the year, if we have extra cash, then we can use this cash to reimburse the credits, distribute some profits to the tokens. Of course, we also need to keep some cash to grow the company. We can also use some cash to buy back tokens. And we also use some cash to help our local community. So that's what I call to do donations, to support other entrepreneurs, to support the environment, the society. So that's basically the responsibility of companies to help the greater society if they're profitable. Okay. If you have any question, feel free to ask me, right? I guess this part, it was already familiar. So the app. So what's going to be unique about our app is that you can start a project in a few minutes, even if you don't have a legal entity. So if we want to work together, we just open the app, we agree on our respective remuneration, and we can start working together. And then maybe 6 months later, when we see that this side project is becoming serious and we're starting to make money, then you can register a legal entity and pay your taxes and do everything properly. But in some countries, the legal paperwork is so complex that either it prevents people from doing the business, or it delays it, or for the first few months, they spend 80% of the time doing administrative paperwork, and that's not helping them. Another thing is that we aim to manage the whole life cycle, from contracts to payment and to equity. And yeah, we manage the equity, we manage the payout, we have a cash waterfall system, profit sharing, all of this is integrated in the app. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of accounting apps out there. There's a lot of ERPs, but I don't know many that actually do this, And then we introduce this transparency and trust. This is very important for people like MasterCard Foundation that Nico described. Or I'm an investor. Okay, I'm going to give you money in your project, but I want to know what you're doing with my money. Okay. So again, these are features that are quite unique. Okay, and to give access to a lot of people to see your account. Now, we have different levels of transparency. So if you're my auditor, you can see every transaction. But if you're an investor or if you're an employee, well, maybe I don't want you to see every transaction, but I want you to see the overall, like every month, how much money we made, how much money we spent, how much we paid the flex, how much we paid the credits. So have a visibility on the analytical accounts. Okay. And we're already, a lot of these features are already in the app, and credit goes to the development team, to Hakim and Zinu and Anwar, and also the two people who left, Mubarak and Ismail. We have some amazing features that already work well. I mean, we can improve the UX, we can add new features, but what we have already is something already unique, that we have a lot of features that I don't think other software have. And at the end of the day, it should be super simple to use, and it should be more powerful than some of the very, very expensive ERPs that cost millions of euros, and people spend months trying to implement it, and they have to pay external consultants. It's like super expensive. And I think we can do better with a small app that's free for most people to use.